whatever you are looking at the screen right now, I will read it, and then inshallah I will just slowly show you the reference for every single thing. Please pay attention, and you can take a screenshot of this one. Mirza Ghulam Qadyani's belief is following. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam की दो बेसतें हैं. पहली बेसत आज से तकरीबन 1400 साल कबल इब्न अब्दुल्ला के तौर पे हुई, और दूसरी बेसत मिर्जा गुलाम कादियानी के तौर पे कादियान में हुई. दूसरी बेसत जो मिर्जा गुलाम कादियानी के तौर पे कादियान में हुई, ये पहली बेसत से अफजल है. Now there's a trick they playing here. You might have watched that trick when Razi was debating with Ustad Rashid. Inshallah, I will expose that today. ये दूसरी बेसत इसलिए, now this is the कुफर ऑफ नेक्स्ट लेवल. ओके, ये दूसरी बेसत इसलिए जरूरी थी कि पहली बेसत के दौरान मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने इस मिशन को मुकम्मल नहीं किया जो अल्लाह ने उनके जिम्मे लगाया था. एंड देन जो शख्स इस अकीदा का इनकार करे वो कुरान का इनकार करने वाला, मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का इनकार करने वाला और खुदा की नजर में काफिर है, और ऐसे शख्स की आखिरत में कोई निजात नहीं. And on the basis of that, Jamat Ahmadiyya says the following, that their foundational principle, their first principle is that Mirza Ghulam Qadyani के मिर्जा गुलाम कादियानी मोहम्मद है और वो आईने मोहम्मद है. Okay, now you can take the screenshot here. Inshallah, this is the English translation of everything I read before. Please take a screenshot, and I now want to show you the reference. I will pause for a few seconds on each reference. You can take screenshot because everything I have just read, we are repeatedly quoting these references. Okay, I don't want to take your time again because we did this last time as well. So I'm stopping every few seconds so you can take the screenshot of everything I have said before. Okay, now this is the first reference. This is the second reference. This is the third reference. Okay, and now keep moving. This is the reference of that kufr of next level. I want to read this at least one reference. Ruhani Khazain, volume 17, page 263. चूंकि आ हजरत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का दूसरा फर्ज मनसबी जो तकमील इशात हिदायत है, he says that the second obligation of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was the propagation of the guidance, Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam
the
के ज़माना में
completion of the propagation of guidance. Takmeel.
Sorry bhai.
Yeah, takmeel is a very important word there. दूसरा फर्ज मनसबी जो तकमील इशात हिदायत है. Yeah, so the completion of the propagation of guidance. The completion of the propagation of guidance. Yes, please.
Jazakallah bhai. Jazakallah khair. So the completion of propagation of the guidance, which was the second obligation, farz mansabi, obligation of his office, obligation of his designation. Okay, now Mirza says, आ हजरत के जमाना में बवजह अदम वसाइल अशात गैर मुमकिन था. Mirza says that because of not having the means of propagation, it was not possible to complete this obligation. And then he says, इसलिए कुरान शरीफ की आयत व आखरीन मिनहुम लम्मा यल्हकू बिहिम. He says, for this reason, this ayah of Surah Jum'ah, that the others are from them who have not joined them yet. Mirza says this ayah has a promise. इसमें आ हजरत की आमद सानी का वादा दिया गया है. And we know from the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wa'ada, promise, must be fulfilled. Now Mirza says that this was the promise that given by Allah with regard to the second coming, second advent of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to put a stamp on this one. Look at this one on the same page. Mirza says वादा की जरूरत इस वजह से पैदा हुई. He says that the need for this promise arises. Why? ताकि दूसरा फर्ज मनसबी आप सल्लम का यानी तकमील इशात हिदायत दीन जो आपके हाथ से पूरा होना चाहिए था, उस वक्त बबाई से अदम वसाइल पूरा नहीं हुआ. Mirza says that the second obligation of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was the completion of the propagation of the deen and the guidance, he says that it should have been fulfilled at the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but because of lack of resources, it was not completed. पूरा नहीं हुआ. सो इस फर्ज को हजरत ने अपनी आमद सानी से जो बरूजी रंग में थी ऐसा जमाना में पूरा किया जबकि तमाम जमीन के तमाम कौमों तक इस्लाम पहुंचाने के वसाइल पैदा हो गए थे. मिर्जा सेज फॉर दिस रीजन Prophet sallallahu, pay attention, please pay attention. He says, for this reason, it is Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who completed the second obligation during his second advent when he came in the Buruzi form. Why? Because at that time of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, the resources have become available to propagate the deen to all the nations of the earth. Got it? So this was the reason I quoted this one. You can take screenshot as well. Let's move on. And this is Jamat Ahmadiyya telling you कि अहमदियत का अस्ल उसूल मसीह मऊद मोहम्मदस्त व आईने मोहम्मदस्त. Mirza Ghulam Qadyani is Muhammad and he is the very Muhammad. Then they say इसी में खत्म नबूवत का राज मुज़मिर है. He says in this consists the secret of खत्मुन नबूवा. इसी से मसीह मऊद का नबीउल्लाह होना साबित होता है. And this proves the prophethood of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. और यही वो बात है जो अहमदियत का अस्लुल उसूल कही जा सकती है. He says this is something that can be considered as the first principle or the foundational principle or the essence, asl, or the essence of all principles of Jamaat Ahmadiyya. And then if somebody wants, in the same quotation, the guy says that as you recite the call of prayer, azan, in the ear of a newborn baby, they say that this used to be the case. In the ear of a newborn baby, they used to recite or call that Messiah Maud Muhammad Aswaine Muhammadas. Just imagine. I wonder if they do it today as well. Last thing, that is it kufr or, and now this is, by the way, the claim that Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, yes, the second coming in the form of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, Aqwa Akmal Ashad. Now please take a pause at this point. You know the dajjal they are playing. They say, oh, look at the quotation. It says that Aap sallallahu alaihi wasallam ki ruhaniyat. Hello Qadianis. This ruhaniyat manifested as who? As Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. Because the manifestation of this ruhaniya in the 6th millennium, it manifested as Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. And then they try to play a game. Oh, no, Mirza was saying that Islam became the full moon. Hello? Let me read something for you. Khutbah Ilhamiya में मसीह मऊद ने आप सल्लम के बेसत अव्वल और बेसत सानी की बाहमी निस्बत को हलाल और बदर से ताबीर फरमाया. It's not us. The quotation of Aqwa Akmal Ashad and Chaudhry ka Chand, Jamat is telling us that it is referring to the two advents. Now, there are two things, crescent and full moon, and two advents, first advent and second advent. Which advent is being referred as the full moon? Think about yourself. Think yourself. And secondly, don't get trapped into the dajjal of the murabbis. They say, oh, it says that Hazrat ki ruhaniyat. Hello? Mirza says this ruhaniyat manifested as Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. Now I want to tell you something very important, and I want you to please pay extra attention for this point. The belief of Ahmadiyya Jamaat is that Nabuwa of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is like a chadar, is like a clock, right? So there are two individuals, Ibn Abdullah and Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. These are two individuals. So the same clock was given to Ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, And then the same clock was given to Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. Now you tell me, where did you get this concept of clock? Muhammadi chadar पहनाई गई. Then they would say, oh, Sufiyas used to call Muhammadi chadar. Hello, you are claiming that your belief is from Quran, and now you are quoting a Sufiya. First, you need to issue a public statement that Mirza Ghulam Qadyani was a misguided Sufi, and he was using all of these Sufi terminologies. But your claim is Mirza Ghulam Qadyani is a prophet of God. Right? Number one. Number two, when something is used by, please pay attention, please pay attention, please pay attention. If something is quoted by a Sufi, it is not binding on any Muslim. When something is said by a prophet of Allah through revelation, it becomes binding. If you miss this difference, you can never ever get rid of the Dajjal of Murabbis. Let me repeat one more time. Anything said by a Sufi, it cannot be used as a foundation to establish a belief. Go and ask any scholar. Number one. Number two, if anything is said by a Sufi, it has nothing binding, no binding on any Muslim. However, when something is said by a prophet of Allah, then it becomes Allah's revelation and binded on every Muslim in the same way as Quran is binding. This is the difference between the Sufi things and Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. If you want to quote the Sufi terminologies, then you need to make a public statement that you are telling people that their belief are established by Quran. And when you put them in the corner, then they say, oh, from the Sufis. Subhanallah, what a double standard. Now, very quickly, inshallah, as I said before, Mirza says that if you don't believe in this, you are a kafir. Look at this one. खुदा ताला ने मेरे पे जाहिर किया है, हर एक शख्स जिसको मेरी दावत पहुंची है, इसने मुझे कबूल नहीं किया, वो मुसलमान नहीं है, खुदा के नजदीक काबिल मुआखज़ है. It does not say that he's a kafir, this kafir, that kafir, two circle. Allah के नजदीक मुसलमान नहीं है. End of story. If somebody is not a Muslim in the sight of Allah, in which circle he still exists? You can take a screenshot of this one and please check and verify. Next one. जो शख्स तेरी पैरवी नहीं करेगा, Mirza Ghulam Qadyani is quoting his God in the first person. It's a verbatim quotation. जो शख्स तेरी पैरवी नहीं करेगा, तेरी बैत में दाखिल नहीं होगा, तेरा मुखालिफ रहेगा, वो खुदा और रसूल की नाफरमानी करने वाला जहन्नमी है. Now you tell me, if the God of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani is telling us that if you do not enter into the bay'ah, in the allegiance of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, and if you don't follow Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, if you oppose Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, Mirza's God is telling us that you are opposing Allah and His Messenger, and you are from the people of hellfire. And then in this age, in this time, they are ashamed of these quotations. They say, no, आप मिल्लत इस्लामिया में शामिल हैं. That guy was saying, आप मिल्लत इस्लामिया में शामिल हैं. Which मिल्लत इस्लामिया? Mirza says जहन्नमी है, मुसलमान नहीं है. Which मिल्लत इस्लामिया? This shows that you have no confidence in Mirza's writings. It shows that you cannot defend them publicly. That's why you play these games. Okay, Mirza's Jamat says, please pay attention. जिस इस्लाम में आप पर ईमान लाने की शर्त ना हो और आपके सिलसिले का जिक्र नहीं, इसे आप इस्लाम नहीं समझते. Mirza's Jamaat is telling us, if belief in Mirza is not a condition and entering into Jamaat of Mirza is not a condition, according to Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, this is not Islam. And then it says, यही वजह है कि खलीफा अव्वल ने ऐलान किया था कि इनका इस्लाम और है, हमारा इस्लाम और है. He says for this reason the first Khalifa Hakim Nuruddin had made a public announcement that Islam of the Muslim is different and Islam of the Ahmadis is different. You can take a screenshot inshallah. And now Mirza Ghulam Qadyani's son, Mirza Bashir Ahmad M.A., he says the following. यही वजह है कि मसीह मऊद हकीकत वही में फरमाते हैं, जो मुझे नहीं मानता वो खुदा रसूल को भी नहीं मानता. Mirza, now there are two testimonies. Mirza Ghulam Qadyani's son is testifying that his father, Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, said that if you do not believe in me, it is as though as you don't believe in Allah and His Messenger. And now what it means, not me, not Adnan Bhai, Mirza Ghulam Qadyani's son is telling us that what it means. जिसका यही मतलब है कि मेरा ज़ाहिरी कुफ्र खुदा और रसूल का बातनी कुफ्र है. Mirza's son is saying that this quotation means that disbelief in Mirza is actually the inner disbelief in Allah and His Messenger. Please pay attention. Mirza's son is saying after rejecting Mirza Ghulam Qadyani, a person becomes kafir outwardly and inwardly. Now you tell me, if somebody is a kafir outwardly and inwardly, in which circle of Islam he exists? And that's the reason Mirza Ghulam Qadyani said the following just few days before his death. Mirza says, याद रखो, अगर मैं झूठा हूं तो फिर इस्लाम भी झूठा है. अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह. रूहानी मलफूजात, pay attention, go and check. This is just few days before death of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. Mirza says, remember, if I am a liar, then Islam is also a lie. Malfuzat, volume 10, page 266. So I have presented everything with reference which I